Good afternoon, you wee bastards, and welcome back to War Thunder with Koala. I promise this video is War Thunder related, even though, hello, for all of you who have never seen my face before. So this is a video I've been wanting to make for a little while. I actually had planned to make this video like 2 weeks ago. We're doing a tier list for War Thunder's Grind Forces maps. Now this is something I've been seeing going around. The whole tier list thing was something I originally think it was the YouTuber iDubbbz. But I've seen a few of them going around for these War Thunder Grind Forces maps. I believe it was set up by the mysterious Swede. And we're going to do our own today, basically ranking my favourite maps for War Thunder RB Ground Forces. So this is going to be a bit of a relaxing video. We're just going to sit back, have a talk about different maps in the game, talk about what I like from them. So this is all going to be personal opinion, and I'm probably going to ramble and rant and rabbit on for the whole of this video. So if you're not interested in seeing that, there you go. There's your disclaimer. Get out of here right now. As I said in my last War Thunder video on the M1A1HA, I've been really strapped for time lately. This month of the year, this time of the year is actually really busy for me personally, and it's been Monica's birthday. It's her 21st birthday, so we've been down staying up in the hills down south for her birthday, celebrating her birthday, and I haven't really had much access to internet, and the poor girl was sick over her entire 21st birthday, which is like the worst time to have an illness, but so I've been not only being down there to spend some time with her and celebrate, and I've also been looking after her and getting very little sleep, so I haven't really had time to cover the new vehicles of update 1.89 all that much, which is very remiss of me, but we're going to get on with that stuff in a couple of days. I'm going to try and get 2 videos out for you lads today, or at least one out early tomorrow morning, to kind of make up for the lack of upload. My upload schedule really goes to pot this time of year, but I really apologise for that, and I'll try and make up for it. I'm so sorry. You guys can get your daily dose of koala back. What in the frick is going on with my hair? Fuck, I just punched the microphone. I am so crap at this. This is why I script all my videos and don't bother showing my face all that much. I'm in a really good mood right now though. Okay, just to go through it. Google AdSense tells me how much I get paid for last month on about the 12th to 15th of each month. So I just found out yesterday actually, that for the first time ever, YouTube has made me enough through ad revenue alone that if I were to make that much every month, which I'm not going to, not yet, but if I were to make that much every month, I would be able to move out, make a living out of YouTube. Which is amazing. That's so cool. You know, living the dream. So that's put me in a really good mood today. So we're just going to have a little chat. I'll get on with the video in a minute, by the way, lads. Last thing I'm going to say, in a couple of days, I'm going to do like a channel update, personal, get to know me, answering commenters' questions, you know, things like that video. So in a few days on the 17th, because that's the anniversary of me beginning my channel. My first video was on the 17th of October 2017. So that's when I'm going to start doing. I'm going to start doing these every month. It's going to be a monthly series of like answering your guys' questions and talking about something, rambling, kind of like, you know, Jingles has Mingles with Jingles, Ash has Crash with Ash, the Orange Doom used to have Doom Time. I think Napalm has this thing, Duck Talks or whatever he calls it. But so we're going to do like a personal video like that. So if you want to ask any questions, if you want me to, you know, go over some of your guys' comments, in that video, which is going to come out in a couple of days, then leave them in the comment section below. And without further ado, let's get on to the actual topic of this video. So here we go, here's the tier list itself. So we've got purple, white, blue, green. If you guys know what game I'm actually getting these levels from, let me know in the comments below. Comment below what game I'm getting this kind of tier from. You know, purple up at the top, white, all the way going down to red. Because it's one of my favourite games of all time. But as you can see, we've got all our War Thunder RB Ground Forces maps down here. Now, I want to preface this, of course, by saying that this is all my own personal opinion, and that this does not reflect, you know, what is actually the best map or the worst map. It's just my own personal views. It comes down to my biases, how I play the game, and what I like to see out of my War Thunder maps. So I'm going to dislike some maps that you probably really like, and I'm going to really love some maps that you probably can't stand. And that's perfectly fine, it's just opinions. You know, it's like if I said, how do you like your steak? Because my favourite steak is done rare. And you wouldn't be like, oh, you're a stupid piece of cancer, you absolute scrub. You know, everyone's favourite steak is well done. You know, so can we get the civil discussion happening in the comments instead of accusations of everyone's stupid and my opinion is right and yours is wrong? Ding dong, your opinion is wrong. Now I just want to say that this is all these maps judged by me personally and no one else, relative to each other. So I don't think there's any War Thunder map that is perfect, and that just comes down to what I like to see. I'm the type of person that's, I don't want to say difficult to please, but like, I'm always looking to improve something, or look for ways that something could be improved. You know that whole saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it? That ain't me. I'm always looking to, you know, brainstorm how things could be changed, how things could be altered, because I've been playing this game for 6 years, and a lot of these maps, you know, they get old after a while. So I'm always looking for, you know, things that could be done differently, and I don't think any War Thunder map is perfect. I also don't think any War Thunder map is completely broken and unplayable, and, you know, none of them are that bad. They're pretty decent. So to start from the bottom, the first thing we're going to put down here, Wallonia. I despise this map. I cannot tell you how much I dislike this map. I think it is ugly. I don't think it's balanced. I don't think it's fun. Oh, it feels like it was lazily designed and just thrown in there because, you know, we need another map. And one of the things that I cherish in maps, and the map that I'm going to put right at the top here, I'm going to go over specifically why. I like seeing that the capture points on these maps are actually something. One thing I really don't like is just capturing a random chalk circle drawn on the ground, and that's just me. I like the immersion that comes with War Thunder, even though, you know, this is a video game. But like this map, the capture points are nothing. I mean, the layout of the buildings is, there's just random corpses of buildings. You've got the town off on one side, I believe that's Alpha Cap, and then Charlie Cap is up on the hill. But besides there just being a couple of buildings, just a random cluster of copy-paste asset buildings just chucked around, the capture points mean nothing. There's no reason to be capturing this random place that's just marked out by a chalk circle on the ground. And that's just one of my personal pet peeves about War Thunder maps. I hate when the capture points are just nothing. Oh, I should also say that I'm going to rate all of these maps based on the tier that they're meant for. So, you know, American Desert is a fantastic map for 5.3, but it's a terrible map for top tier, and it is based on, you know, it's a map for top tier, it's a top tier map. So we're going to base these maps on what tier they are meant for. And Wallonia is just a map that I cannot stand at any tier. I mean, I think it's mainly based around 6.7 to 7.7. I can't even put my finger on why, I just really don't like it. The hill that is on the southeastern side of the map, only one team has access to a spot like that, and it basically allows you to completely roam free and snipe players that are going to have no idea you're there. There's a copse of trees that you can see out of, but players are going to have a really tough time seeing into. And you can really unfairly hold the map. The southern team really has a distinct advantage on that map, and like I just really don't like it. I can't really say why. I don't like the way the capture points are laid out. I don't like the imbalance of the map. I don't like the design of the map. I just think it's physically ugly. Yeah, that's Wallonia in my opinion. Like I said, it's not terrible. It's not unplayable. I'll play it, but I don't like it, and I certainly wouldn't miss it if it were removed from rotation. Okay, what am I going to put next? So like I said, these maps aren't terrible, they're just... This is one step above the worst, and the worst is still playable. So, yeah, let's put... Oh, where's White Rock Forge? There it is! I do not like this map. And I would almost consider putting it down here, but I think it's one step above Wallonia. I'd rather play this than Wallonia. And the reason I don't like this map is mainly because it takes so freaking long to get anywhere on this map. Sure, when you first spawn in, it's an okay map. You go, you've got that really isolated bit of the castle in the middle, and I don't like that because you can't get in. There's only like 2 or 3 ways into that castle. Once you get into that castle, you have to either go all the way forward towards the enemy spawn in order to get to either of the 2 other capture points, or you have to go all the way back out. So you're basically completely reliant on your team to win the battle on the flanks so that you don't have to traipse your way all the way over there. And traversing this map takes so long. And the most annoying thing about White Rock Fortress is that when you respawn, it then takes flippin' ages to get back to an area of the map where you can actually make a difference. And half the time, the only spawn that matters is your first spawn, because by the time you get back to the battle in your second or third spawn, the game's already been decided. You're just there to help with cleanup or to throw the enemy team an extra kill, because there's nothing you can do. What else am I going to put here? Italy. 100%. Where's Italy? There it is. Italy is... It could have been so good. It could have been so good. And all you have to do is flip it horizontally. The thing with Italy is, once again, you cannot move anywhere without exposing your flank to being shot. There's no, I guess, stable situation you can ever have on that map. You can never be like, okay, we've got this area down now let's move on to the next part of the map and try and secure it piece by piece. You can't do that, because the map doesn't go anywhere. The gameplay on that map doesn't progress anywhere. I hate that map. The design of it is beautiful. I love the visual design. One thing I didn't mention about White Rock is that I absolutely hate the way it looks. It looks like garbage. Just the color scheme is awful. But that's just personal preference. I don't like all the brown, drab, you know. But Italy, the visual design is stunning. Absolutely beautiful. But the absolute trash gameplay that you have on that map, it's just very spastic. It doesn't lend itself well to being played progressively, and I'm not sure I'm displaying or demonstrating exactly what that means. Yeah, I just don't like it. A lot of these maps I don't like. I can't even put my finger on why I don't like them. I hate them. I really hate them. The next map we're gonna put here would be... Oh, of course it's gotta be Vietnam. Where's Vietnam? Here it is. Vietnam Hills. This is another one of those maps like White Rock Fortress. From most points on that map, you can't influence the game outside of your own little area, your little corner of the map. That's all you can kind of influence without traipsing all the way across the map. And once again, you can be shot from somewhere you had no real chance of defending against. In fact, I would even go so far as to put Vietnam Hills down here, because it's kind of the worst parts of Italy and White Rock Fortress put together. And there are a couple of points in that. The hills on either side, right by the spawns, are ridiculous sniping positions. And it really doesn't lend itself well to the type of gameplay I like out of War Thunder. Now, I can't really describe what that is, but yeah, there we go, Vietnam Hills. I would almost put this down here, but once again, I'd rather play Vietnam than Wallonia. And Gaijin did fix the ridiculous hitbox of those trees. The hitboxes for some of those trees was absolutely ridiculous. You'd be getting stuck on a tree when you were like a full tank and a half width away from the tree. Like, it was so ridiculous, extremely lazily designed. I like the visual design of it. I like the look of it. I really think more could be done with it. That town that's down in the south by the ocean, I think more could be done with that, because no one really goes there. It's just a place to bum rush the flank. Alright, I think that's it I'm going to put there. Let's see if there's anything else I want to put... what about Maginot Line? No, I'm going to put Maginot Line up here, actually. Maginot Line is one of those maps that a lot of people hate, and I don't like it. That's why it's down here. But I don't mind it. And the most important thing on Maginot Line is that you don't die, because your second spawn, you take so long to get back to the battle. Having said that, I like the overall design of the map. You've got the town on one side, you've got the hills on the other side, and you've got that little bit of reprieve in the middle with Bravo, where if you can hold Bravo and either of the two other capture points, or at least the general area, you don't even have to hold the caps themselves, but you can hold that general area and you can fight and know what's going to happen in the map. You can know what's going to happen in 2 minutes time, what's going to happen in 5 minutes time. I don't think the visual design is quite there. There's a lot of roads that don't go anywhere. There's a lot of trees in the water. That makes no sense at all. Some of the buildings are they're copy-paste, and it's a little bit boring in the town. I never go in the town in Maginot Line. I used to, back when the map was first introduced, up 1.75, I think. I don't go there anymore, because I think it's too boring. It gets really old to look at the exact same building copy-pasted in a slightly different angle 15 times in a single small area of that town. It gets really annoying. And I wish there were some more assets, because these buildings don't all look the same in real life, and if you look at places where this type of map is based on, the visual design could be so much better. I would like the visual design of the town to be more like Italy, but not in a line. That's all I'm asking for. Alright, what am I going to put next? I'm going to put Alaska in here. Where's Alaska? Here's Alaska. Alaska is a map that I find fun, but I don't find it to be tactical or strategic. It's sporadic, it's spastic. Not in the same way that Italy is. You can actually have a lot of fun, and of course it's a map that is designed for top tier tanks, which are spastic and sporadic already, because they drive around at 70 kph, especially on paved surfaces. One thing I do like about this map, which is what I brought up before, is that the capture points actually mean something. They're not just chalk circles on the ground. You know, you've got the Alpha cap on one side, the Charlie cap on the other side, and the Bravo cap in the middle. Now the Charlie cap, I think it's Charlie, is the highway, the elevated highway, or at least it's the end of that highway where the car park is. It could have been so much better if it had just been a wee bit bigger. And I brought this up when talking about the map when it was first introduced. I said, this map is really not big enough, and this city seems very small for a modern style city. And I wish it were a wee bit bigger. And people were saying, well, this is Alaska, this isn't New York. You know, this is a little city somewhere in Alaska. It is probably almost realistically sized. But I wish the map itself were bigger. If we could actually use a lot of the area that goes out to the east past the highway, I think the map would be a lot better. And there are some imbalanced parts of the map, but the main problem I have with it, there's absolutely no way of knowing whether you're safe from directions in the town, in the city itself, around Bravo Cap. But like I said, the Charlie Cap is the end of the highway. It's actually something. Now there's no reason that you're capturing the end of the highway, and over the other side of the map, the Alpha Cap is just a random garden. Like it's a park. Like it means nothing. But at least it is a noticeable point of interest. The capture points are actually a thing. And I really like that out of War Thunder maps. And I wish it were done more often. I wish we had an airfield in the tank map that we could capture and actually fight over, fight on the runway and things like that. I think that would be really, really cool. Alright, well that was a long rant about that one. What else am I going to put here? Kursk. Where's Kursk? Where's my old... Kursk is a map I would have put down here a few months back. But they changed the map, and I've recently been seeing more value to this map. I absolutely used to despise it. I used to think, you know, this is the worst map in War Thunder, and I will bail out every time I get it. And now I don't mind it nearly as much. I don't think it's good. I don't enjoy it as much as I enjoyed, well, most of these maps. But I don't mind playing it as much as I once did. And that's really all I've got to say about it. Because it used to be just, if you capture Bravo, you win. You win the game. Because you can prevent anyone moving around the Alpha area, around that whole side of the map. You can just lock off if you capture Bravo. Charlie, once again, if you just move a little bit over to the other side, Charlie is gone. And if you lose the middle of the map, you're confined to spawn, basically. And that is awful, awful gameplay. And that's exactly the same problem that Italy has. Late game, when you've captured the whole city, the enemy has nothing they can do. And Kursk has the same thing. Or at least it did. Now, there's a bit of back and forth to it. And I really like that. So Kursk has been big time improved. I would have put it right down the bottom. But, no, I don't mind it quite as much as I used to. American Desert. I think we'll put American Desert. You know what? I'm going to put American Desert here. We'll go over that in a moment. I'm going to put Hürtgen Forest. Nah, I'm going to put Ardennes here. Where's Ardennes? There it is. Ardennes is a map I don't mind. In fact, I'd almost consider putting it here, but I don't think it's quite good enough. It's the map I played in the video How to Get More Kills, and I was playing Panzer IVs. And I think that's the tier it's kind of based on. And I like it at that tier. I hate it at 6.7. Absolutely despise it. But it's not really based on that tier. At least I don't think it is. I don't think it's meant to be. It's another one that's similar to Hürtgen Forest and Wallonia. Wallonia is definitely the worst. I cannot even tell you how much I hate this map. But Ardennes, I don't mind so much. And it does progress really nicely. There's a really good back and forth, a good tug of war, which is one of the things I love when capture points are laid out in a line between your two spawns. I think it's fantastic for close air support, because if you come in from the sides, you don't have the ability to just go 1, 2, 3. But if you do, you're also heading straight towards the enemy spawn, so you're going to get hit by SPA. And you can really analyze the strategies that are going on in that map, and it makes it really nice for me to make videos on as well. Something like Italy, there's absolutely no tactical thought that goes into playing on Italy. You run around in the city until someone takes the city, and it's a crap map. It's really even worse to make videos on. Vietnam is just annoying to make videos on. Ardennes is actually quite good for that, because you can visualize the different tactics that people are using, and I really like that. And like I said, I really like the layout of the capture points. Now, the capture points could do with being something, like I said before, I would really like that. But I don't think that's going to happen. It is just a town. You're fighting over progressing bit by bit through the town. And that's why I like that the capture points are laid out in a line. Because it's not like we're capturing 3 different areas. It's that we're moving piece by piece through the town. I like this map. I would play on it more often, but I'd almost consider putting it up here. But I don't think it's quite as fun. American Desert. One of the more recent maps. Nah, screw it. I'm going to put American Desert back down here. And the reason I'm putting it down here is because it's a top tier map. It's designed around top tier tanks, Abrams, Leopard 2s, and it's way too small. Way too small. And there is a bigger version of this map that isn't in rotation. It might be for Sim. I've never seen it. But basically it's the air map that American Desert has. And it looks fantastic. I would love to play on that map because it's huge. It is actually a desert with a town somewhere in the middle, and like the lake is off to one side. But currently it's so small for top tier, and I've played this map at 5.3. Fantastic map. Really, really fun. The problems it has, it's a bit imbalanced, and it's very exploitable. It's very flat. So there's no difference in terrain. There's only one terrain elevation point, and only one team has access to that kind of area, which is very, very imbalanced, and I don't like that at all. That's why it's here. But it's also here because it's too small for top tier, and top tier is where it's designed for. And you can still have a lot of fun on this map at top tier, but it's not good. I mean, people just rush behind the train line, capture that one capture point, I believe it's Alpha, that's on that side of the map, and then go for the flank, and then slowly start to push back through the town. And this is the team that's on the north. And the north side not only has that massive spawn-locked area, you have all that selection of rocks, where the whole lot is spawn protected. They also have the hill that's right in that spawn protected area. 30 seconds into the map on American Desert, you can be in the enemy spawn. 30 seconds. And what I was saying about the spawn protected area, there's all the rocks on one side. The southern side has nothing. You can be spawn camped so easily on the south. And you cannot spawn camp the northern team. And that's what I don't like about it. It's imbalanced, it's too small for top tier. I like the design of it. It's too flat. I wish there were more terrain elevation differences. I like that in a map, and I wish the capture points were something. Once again, maybe we should have an airfield to fight over. Maybe it should be the big version of American Desert, because I'd love to fight on that map. And if that is in sim rotation, and you've played it, please let me know, because I'd love to know. Now, what's next? Hürtgen Forest is the first thing I'm going to put up in the green section. This is a map I enjoy. I would play on this map quite often, without getting tired of it. Once again, it's got a line where you've got southern spawn point, or southwestern spawn point, and then A, B, C, and then the northeastern spawn point. So it's all one big line. And you've also got that big valley off to the left side of that line, and then the hill. But this is 2 maps. At least I think it's only 2. No, 3 maps. There are 3 maps that actually called Hürtgen Forest. So that you've got the valley, you've got the town, you've got the valley, and then you've got the big hill, the plateau. And there's the one map where you fight over that. Don't like that map. Too circular, too easy. Nothing to it. Then you've got the main one of those maps, which is the town, where the capture points are all in a line, and then you've got the valley and a little bit of that hill to use, and a little bit off to the south side. And then there's the map that's completely based on the south side, where you just fight over the riverland. I wish we could combine all 3 maps into one big tank-enduring confrontation map. I think that would be awesome. A little bit of, I guess, modularity to it, so you're not always playing the same thing, even if you see Hürtgen Forest come up. I think it's well designed. I think the visual design is very nice. I think it is laid out in such a way that you can really progress through the map in a tactical fashion, where you can actually analyze what's going on, think about what players are going to do next, and actually anticipate what's going to happen in 2 or 3 minutes time. And I like that the capture points, they're not quite in a line. It's like you've got Alpha, Charlie, Bravo in like almost a shallow triangle. I like the valley. I love fighting over there. I can remember a video I did in the Object 120 back when my channel was only about 2 months old. I had about 50 subscribers, and I had a lot of fun playing the Object 120 on that map. But it does have some problems, and that's why I'm not putting it higher. I would rate it higher. I do really enjoy Hürtgen Forest. Let's see, what else am I going to put here? I'm going to put both Normandies here. I'm going to talk about these together, because I think both Normandies have one side that is very focused on. When it comes to Fields of Normandy, this is the one, as you can see, the big hangar in the middle. I like that. The map is actually something. But I think the problem is everybody focuses on the sea cap, no one goes down for the southern side of the map, or at least very few players do. But, having said that, if you have to traverse all the way across the map, no matter what tier you're at, it's fun to do. It's not skillless, it's not brainless, there's no issue where you could be flanked from any direction with absolutely no idea where people are. There's no real big glaring issues with the map. And like I said, with Fields of Normandy, the capture, at least the central capture point, is a thing. It's the big hangar. I don't know why we need to capture this random hangar sitting in the middle of France, but I don't know, maybe it's meant to be a factory of some kind. There is like a train car or something, like maybe it's a depot or something, or a coal mine, a coal station or something. There's train tracks there. Fields of Normandy, everyone focuses the town, which is perfectly fine. Normandy, the town, the coastal town of Normandy, where you can, with all the barrage balloons. Once again, you've got the big central, you've got the church in the middle, you've got the monument off to one side, which is where most people try to hold, and then you've got the flank. And it's a nice town to fight on. The streets are curved around. You've got like 3 churches on this map, which is a wee bit weird, but you've got the one that's off to the north is the same one from this map that everyone fights over around the Charlie Cap on Fields of Normandy. On this map, that allows you to very easily spawn camp the eastern team. Or it's the northern team. The church is on the west. The ocean is on the east. I like the beach. I like the fight that happens on the beach, especially, and you guys are going to know this if you've been paying attention for the past 10 minutes, I love the difference in elevation between you've got the beach and then there's up with the town and then there's up another level when it comes to the hill that everyone kind of flanks around. And I like the layout of the capture point as well, where the Bravo cap is down on the beach on one side. And it's kind of like a diagonal line. It's not perpendicular to the spawns, but it's also not one big line. I like that. That's really cool. What else am I going to put in this tier? Something I forgot, actually. Here's a map I forgot. This is it, Stalingrad. I'm going to put Stalingrad here. You can completely knock down a building. You can shoot through some houses. And yet there'll be a little wooden fence post that you can't move through and can't shoot through. And it's so stupid. It's lazily modeled, in my opinion. You can smash through an entire train station and shoot through a whole factory. The side of the wall, the brick wall, you can shoot straight through it. And yet a little wooden post will catch your shell, your 120mm AP round and stop it dead. And you can't shoot through it. I think it's so lazily implemented. I think if that was fixed, I would put it here. Once again, just a personal opinion. So what else for green tier? I'm gonna put Berlin here. I don't mind it. I would play it. If I had it 3 times in a row, I wouldn't be pissed off. But I don't like it as much as most of the other maps. But I think Berlin has some issues. I think it's very MOBA-ish, where you've got 3 lanes. You've got the middle bit around kind of the shallow river, and then the bridges go across, and you've got the Reichstag on one side, and then the little buildings, knocked down, destroyed buildings on one side. The spawns are really imbalanced, where one team has a lot of spawn protection and the other team has none. On the other hand, the team that has no spawn protection does have a slightly better chance of defending their spawn through sniping positions. So it's imbalanced in both ways, which kind of balances out each other, but you get the worst of both worlds, if that makes sense. I don't mind this map. I really don't. But I wouldn't like to play it all the time. And that's all I can really say about that map. What else? Let's put the big ones here now, shall we? Where's Fields of Poland? European Province. Where's European Province? These maps are quite lazily implemented. It's just they took Poland and Eastern Europe, supersized them, and then we're like, that's good enough for top tier. That's enough. We don't need any proper, well thought out, well designed, modern style maps. We'll just have Poland, which was fought over in World War II. You've got destroyed scenery, like KV-1s and things like that on the map, and yet you've got T-80s and Abrams fighting on it. I mean, I like parts of both of these maps. The lake around Poland, I'm going to put the actual, like, Eastern Europe and Poland, I'm going to put them, like, up here, because I really like those maps. Big versions, I just think they're a bit lazy. I think if we didn't have Poland and Eastern Europe, I would probably rate these maps higher. But it's because I know that they were just lazily, they just took the map they already had, made it a bit bigger, and then shoved it in, with absolutely no work done to it at all, and that rubs me the wrong way. They're not imbalanced. They're pretty well balanced, actually. And they can be a lot of fun. That's why I'm putting them here, not down lower. Like I said, none of these maps are bad. Here, we're starting to get to, this is your average worth on a map. I think we should have some proper big top-tier maps. And I think the design of these maps that was already established for Poland and for Eastern Europe, I don't think that lends itself well to being supersized. I think we need a map that's actually designed as a big map. Not a map that's designed as a small map, but you just opened up the flanks around the outside. Yeah, I don't think it works very well. Not horrible. Certainly not horrible. I'd play them pretty often, but I would get annoyed if I had these two maps 5 times in a row. Surroundings of Volokolamsk. This is a map that I think most people would probably put down here. I know most people despise this map. Even put it down here. I know some people saying this is the worst map in the game. I don't mind it. I really don't mind it. I like it. I like it for top tier. I know it's designed around top tier. If you see it at 6.7, you're gonna want to stab yourself in the head. I do. If I get this map in, oh boy, I've had this map in King Tigers, and it's it's awful to play at that tier. But at top tier, T-80s, Leopard 2s, Abrams, even Challengers. I like to play Challengers on this map. That says something. That's probably the main reason I like this map, because it makes my Challenger 2 feel a bit less shit. And I like the fact that, the map is different. You can drive to Charlie. Charlie looks very different to Bravo. Bravo looks very different to Alpha. Alpha is the big plane with the train track, and you gotta hope to God that you don't get seen. Close air support, because of the forests, there's a lot of places you can hide from close air support. So if you don't like planes in tank battles, then I hope you guys can see the use of this map. The thing that this map has a bit special is that the visual design of it, where you've got the hill on one side by Bravo. Bravo is on the far north. That hill is really nice to snipe from, but you can't control the map from that hill. You can only control the Bravo portion and a little bit down towards Charlie, which is the middle capture point. From Charlie, you can't control the whole map, but you have the ability to be covered while you go from one capture point to the other. And the only exception to that is Alpha, and it's kind of really fun to run the gauntlet to get to Alpha. And I really like that. I'll admit, I've been sucked in. One of the things I love about Surroundings of Volokolamsk is that icy lake where your tanks can slide on the ice. It makes no sense at all. No way that ice is thick enough that a Tiger 2 can slide around on it. I'm also going to put regular old Volokolamsk here. There's 2 forms of this map. There's the one where you spawn, and you've got the spawn points are laid out in a line between... Sorry, the capture points are laid out in a line between the 2 spawn points. So you spawn in, you can go left and go to one of them, Alpha, and go right and go to Charlie, and then Bravo's in the middle. And that map's okay. I don't like it. I think Alpha is way too exposed, and I don't think it makes sense for Alpha to be that exposed. Tanks with a lot of turret armor, love that map. Absolutely love that map. Something like a T-44, however, is going to despise that version of Volokolamsk. Then there's the really low tier Volokolamsk, which is like Panzer IIIs, KV-1s, M4 105 Shermans, even something like an M3 gun motor carriage, you know, tier 1, tier 2 stuff. Charby 1s, for example. There's that version of that map. I think it's a single capture point, which is just the town. Nice, the capture point is a thing, it's a place. Good. Let's get on to blue. First thing I'm going to put here is, I think Karelia. Karelia is a map that I quite like. And surprisingly enough, it's good at basically any tier. I like the way it's set out in like a T shape, where you've got the two spawns on the left-hand side of the map, on the western side of the map, and then the two spawns on the right side of the map. But you've got two capture points on the western side of the map, and then only one on the eastern side of the map, and then that big canyon. I like that. The design of it looks really, really awesome. And I think based on the tier that Karelia is really meant for, which is like 3.7 to 5.7, it's a really good map. In fact, I'd almost go to put it here. But I'm going to try and space them out. So these are maps that I really like, these are maps that I really, really, really like, and these are going to be like a couple of the maps I would play over and over again. Karelia, I can't really say much on this map. I just love it. I love the way the terrain is different. I love the fact that you've got that flank, that little canyon off to the far west side, which goes from spawn to spawn. You do have to be really careful to watch that. If you let the enemy team have free reign of that area, you're dead. You've lost the game. But even at top tier, the map is fun, and it's strategic. No one wants to move at top tier playing that map because it's too small. And I think the one thing I don't like about it, one reason it's not here, is because the aircraft portion of the map is A, very boring, and B, very laggy. Because all of those trees, all of the millions of pine trees around the outside of that map, around the bowl that is the tank map, all of those pine trees are destructible, and the game lags out for me because my computer's not good enough to run it. And I think if I get a new computer with better graphics, I can run War Thunder on like a 1440p monitor and things like that. I'd probably rate this map a bit higher, I'd probably rate this map up here. But, you know, that's just me, personally. You'd probably put this map in a different spot anyway, for different reasons. Let's see, Poland. Poland I like. I really like Poland. The way you've got the lake that you fight over, and then you've got the town on the one side, and then you've got the ridge line up on the other side. I like that. The capture points are, I guess, they're actual places. Alpha and Bravo are kind of very much just both sides of the town. I think it would make a lot of sense if the capture points were in a bit of a triangle, kind of like they are for Hürtgen Forest. The A and B in the town were laid out in the same place that they are laid out in a battle game mode. You know, where you've got two capture points, where one of them is on one end of the town, one very edge of the town, and the other is on the other edge of the town. And then Charlie is where it is now. It's on the ridge on the other side. So you've got a triangle of capture points. I think that would really work. I think if that were done, I'd put it here. I'd put it here even. I love this map. I really do like this map. I like going through the town fighting. There's terrain differences because Bravo is a little bit depressed. But Bravo has that little, you know, down by the lake, the way the map, you know, you can see why the capture points are laid out the way they are. Like I said, I'd like it if they were a triangle, but the main thing is Charlie. On the other side of the lake is one big ridgeline with a nice big hill where you can snipe. You can get a good overwatch position into the town, into where the church is, into Bravo especially, and over towards the enemy spawn. Not into their spawn, but towards their spawn. I think the spawn protection needs to be altered a little bit because one team has an unfair advantage in that their spawn is tougher to snipe into. Whereas if the... I'm trying to work out how the map is laid out now. It's east to west, isn't it? If the western team captures Charlie, game's over. What else am I going to put here? Middle East. Middle East I'm going to put here. Where's Middle East? This is one of the maps I think is visually very, very beautiful. I think it has some problems. It's a top tier map, obviously. It's a bit small. It's a little bit imbalanced in that the side on the east has some really good sniping locations and the side on the west doesn't. Your top spawn on the west is very, very vulnerable. So you shouldn't spawn there. Unless you're in a really fast tank and you can immediately get into some cover. But you're in a lot of danger if you spawn there. And it has some problems. I'd almost put it down here. But I really like it. I really find it a lot of fun. It's one of those maps where you can switch your brain off and play it. But also, if you want to treat it very tactically, you can. But there's a lot of areas you can make use of that the enemy's not going to expect. And there's a lot of diverse gameplay on that map. And I like that. I wish it was a wee bit bigger, because it is a top tier map. I love the map for helicopters. Absolutely adore it. Because if you want to be covered in a helicopter, you have to use the big cliffs that are around the outskirts of the map. So you can't be very close in a helicopter and expect to live. That means that if you're fighting against the team that has helicopters, their ATGMs are taking so long to reach you, that if you know the helicopter's there, you can just take cover. But if you're in helicopters and you use those cliffs, you can pounce on unsuspecting targets with your ATGMs and be completely safe while doing it. You can use helicopters realistically. You go down behind the rocks, you poke out, fire off a missile, get it onto the target, and then go back down. And then if you want to relocate, you can, because that cliff ridgeline goes all the way around the map. Let's see, what next? I think I'm going to put Mozdok here. Mozdok is a map that is, once again, modular. There's 3 maps from Mozdok. One of them is for sim only, which would be a fantastic top tier RB map, and I wish it would put into the rotation for RB, because it is a really nice map. But it's for sim only. It's really big, it's a big version of Mozdok. Actually, there's 4 versions of this map. There's one that I almost never see anymore. I think it's Mozdok. It might not be. But it's a really nice map to play on because of the way the capture points are laid out. But there's a lot of tactical progression to a game on Mozdok. I don't like playing World War II tanks on this map. I don't like playing King Tigers on this map. But I like playing, surprisingly enough, the M60 on this map. I really like it. The Leopard is nice. Like I said, the Object 120. T62, I would love it if there were an airfield. Mainly because DCS. One of the tutorial missions for the Su-25 on DCS is landing at Mozdok. And I like that. I wish we had some stuff to fight over. There's also the wetland, the riverlands out to the north of the map, which you can't fight over. And I wish they were part of the map. I think a big version of Mozdok for RB would work really well, and there could be 2 big versions of Mozdok for Tank RB. What next? Novo. I'll put Novo here. Novo's another map where there's like 3 or 4 different versions of this map. You've got the north, middle, south of the map, and they can all be 3 independent maps. I can't really describe them. My favourite one is the middle. I don't like the train line portion where it's all the train stations. There's so many different train cards. I don't like that iteration of Novo. But I also don't see it very often. I do, however, like the middle portion of Novo, and I do like the southern portion as well. Not as much. I think it has some problems. It's very balanced, very well balanced, Port Novo. All 3 variations of it are really well done. I think the visual design of it is beautiful. I think it was implemented with a lot more love and care than a map like Italy or Vietnam or Kursk or Alaska or Maginot Line. I think a lot more care went into developing, you know, a lot more thought went into how is the game going to play on a map like this, and what should we add in, what should we take out. It's a really nice map, really well designed. This is Little Sinai, isn't it? Yeah, I'll put that up here. I like this map's design. It has some issues. I even like it for top tier. It's not based around top tier, but I have been seeing it in rotation for top tier very frequently recently. I think map rotation, by the way, guys, is so off right now. God, this is a long video. I think map rotation needs to be worked on, but I really like Sinai. It's very small, but it's okay that it's very small because you can't just go all over the map. It's too vulnerable. I like the fact that from Bravo you can keep a watch on either side of the map. I like the way the obstacles, the rocks, I think they're like oil tanks or something, are laid out, or like the reservoirs are laid out. That is, you know, care has been put into where they are placed into the map to make them really fit with the gameplay. I like the gameplay on that map. It's also fantastic fun for helicopters, because you can use the cliffs, you can relocate around depending on, you know, if someone knows where you are, get a kill, poke back down, relocate so that they won't be able to track you with radar. Close air support works really well on that map. Sands of Sinai is the big one, which I've got to admit I don't see in rotation anymore. I haven't seen this map in ages. This is the one where there's part of this map is overlapped with this one, which is if you go right out onto the flank, onto the eastern flank, then there's the town, then there's the big selection of big rocks in the middle, then there's the big desert out on the outside. It's the map I played in my M1A1 gameplay video. I love this map. In fact, I'd almost put it up here. But I won't. I'll save that. I don't think it's amazing. I don't like the sandstorm because it makes it a bit too difficult to see with higher graphic settings, but with ultra low quality, you can see right through it. I don't like that. That's bad. It's also a little bit imbalanced in that one team has a really good sniping location, and the other team has nothing. They don't have a location like that. You just have to take the flank and hope to God that no one's looking at you. The northern team also has that one rock out on the eastern flank where you can prevent the enemy team moving on the eastern flank. So you can lock off the only location from which the southern team can equalize the map. And I don't like that. That doesn't work. Having said that, that is the only fault I have with this map, and the ultra low quality thing with the sandstorms. Those are the only two problems I have with this map. Besides that, I love it, and I wish I saw it in rotation more often, but I don't. I don't see it very often. I don't know why. Sands of Tunisia is a strange one. I never see it in rotation. I haven't played it, so I can't really say. I might leave it down here. I wish it were in RB rotation because I've played it in some custom battles and I've gone exploring it. I might make a video specifically on this map because it's not in RB rotation and I really think it should be. It looks really awesome, but of course I haven't played it. I'm going to chuck it in here because of how much I want to see it as an RB map. I think it would work really well for like 5.3 to maybe 6.7. Tunisia, another really good map. Like I said, a lot of them are going in blue. Really nice, diverse gameplay on that map because you've got the capture point in the middle, which is surrounded by the riverlands. You've got the capture point on the western side, which is the big bridge. I just spat. Then you've got the capture point on the eastern side, which is the town, the city. And I like the fact that from the town, you can secure the town and then move in. And you can keep the town secured. At the same time, you have to be really, really careful when you make that initial push into the town, because there could be a tank just around the corner, and you can't really tell whether there's gonna be one. You just have to hope to God there isn't, or push out really, really carefully. And I like that it encourages you to be really careful. It's a little bit... I can't even describe it. The rocks on the southern side in the middle of the map, which... So, to the south of Bravo, to the south of the central capture point, are a little bit difficult to see into. Whereas the rocks that you can use for cover on the northern side of Bravo, it's very easy to pick out a tank there. And there's a couple of imbalanced... They're not even imbalanced spots, it's just a couple of painful spots to deal with. The map is slightly imbalanced in that the southern side, there's those big rocks, those massive boulders that prevent you from seeing towards the map itself. Whereas from the northern side, as soon as you spawn in, you can drive up a slight hill and boom, you can see the whole map. Banner Factory I'm going to leave. I love this map. I absolutely adore this map. Advance to the Rhine is going in here as well. Once again, really nice map, regardless of tier. I play this map at top tier. It's nice. It's one of the very, very few small maps that I still like at top tier. I don't like it as much. I think the tier that it is based for is obviously World War II tanks. Advance to the Rhine. It's on the city of Cologne. I like the way the capture points once again are laid out in that triangle format. I think it works really, really well for gameplay on this style of urban map. Advance to the Rhine, really like it. Really enjoy the gameplay on this map. Ash River, once again I'm going to leave. Carpathian's going to leave. Eastern Europe, yeah, I'm going to put here as well. Capture points all laid out, one big line through the town. You have that flanking field off to the eastern side. You have that big hill off to the western side. I like this map a lot. I would play on it endlessly. I'd play on this map over and over and over again. In fact, you know what? I'm going to put this map up here. I really like Eastern Europe. It's one of my favorite maps in the game. I like it in any type of tank. If I'm in a heavy tank, I like taking the positions. I like moving slowly, trundling through the town. looking off to the left and right. There might be someone trying to get a cheeky flank off to the left, and boom, you shoot across the river. I like being able to cross the bridges and go up the hill and get a bit of a relaxing snipe. It's a bit more relaxing. You can take your time. It'd be nice to make a gameplay video on. What's next? That is Finland. Yeah, Finland, I'm gonna save. I'm gonna put Finland up here. Frozen Pass. Where am I gonna put Frozen Pass? I think that'll go here. The one problem I have with Frozen Pass is it takes a long time to get anywhere. And it's a low tier map. It's, 2.3 to maybe... I don't think I've seen it above 5.3. If I have, it's only been a couple of times. And it really suits that tier. I just don't play that tier very often, which I think is why I don't put it up here. Where the capture point, once again, they are noticeable different places. You've got the tunnel off to one side, I believe it's on the west, which is one capture point, and then over to the far east, you've got another town, just through the pass, through the Frozen Pass. It's really, really nice. I don't really have any problems with that map, besides, like I said, needs a little bit of work on the design front. I still haven't put Fulda anywhere, and I think I'm going to put Fulda in here. Fulda's a map that a lot of people universally don't like, and I like it. I really like it. If you notice I'm talking a bit fast now, it's because I realize that this video is almost an hour long. Fulda is really nice for, I'm going to say, mid-top tier. So, tier 6, maybe T-55s, Leopards love this map. Even something like a Centurion. A Centurion Mark 10, like this map. Really like this map. I think it could use some work. I think there are a few problems with it, but one thing I like about it is, once again, the capture points are noticeable places. In the middle, you've got that, I don't know quite what it is, it's almost like a logging plant, once again. Over to the left, you've got the little military area. You've got all the tanks around there. I like the design of the map aesthetically, where you've got the T-62s and M60A1s, and the line through the middle with all the watchtowers. I don't know if you call them watchtowers, but like lookout towers. Because this is the Fulda Gap. This is where NATO was worried that Russian T-55s would come charging through, or T-72s would come charging through the gap, invading the West. This was a real fear in real life. People were posted here kind of like North and South Korea these days. It was a real hot point. And I like that history behind it. Oh, what else can I say about this map? The roads, where you can use the roads to traverse around the flanks. The only reason I don't put this map up here, or even up here, I really like Fulda, especially at top tier. I think it's based around top tier. Like I said, T-62s, M60A1, AOS, a lot of fun for that tier. The reason I don't put the Fulda Gap higher is because a lot of the map isn't used. If you take the far flanks of that map, it's almost like you're being an asshole. So, the fact that you don't really use a lot of the map, and I've played it, and all of a sudden, even a year after this map was released, I'm only now finding new locations on it that I'd never found before, and that's really cool. I like that. But I think the fact that you're seen as being a bit of an asshole if you take the far flank, because it goes so far outside of Charlie on the lower portion of the map, I don't like that, because I don't like being called an asshole. It's as simple as that. It is awful at World War II tier. If you're playing King Tigers, Pershings even, worst map you can hope to get, because it's all uphill to get to the actual portion of the map that you fight over. I wish Fulda was bigger. Once again, it's a map that could be really good for an enduring confrontation for tanks. Because there's that hill off to the side where the airfields are. Imagine if the airfields were part of the tank map. And I did a video ages ago about how tank enduring confrontation would work, and how it would better suit the gameplay now that we have helicopters. Not even all of the map we have right now is used, and I think if it were, and if there was a bigger version of it for a tank enduring confrontation or for sim, that it would be a really good map. But at the moment, I'm going to leave it here. Another map I'm going to put in here is Jungle. Nice map. Really like Jungle. Bit small, but it is of course for Panzer 2s, Panzer 3s, KV1s, M3 Lees even. You know, tanks like that. Some of the OG, some of the oldest tanks, the ones you started with, so it's a bit of the nostalgia factor. I do really like Jungle though, I think it really suits gameplay. Visual design is amazing. There's not really any problem spots on the map. It's very balanced, very well balanced, and it's a lot of fun. I like getting that map at low tier, because I can have some fun. I can relax and have some fun. What is this map? What is this map? I don't recognize this map. I just realized that. I don't know what this map is. Someone let me know in the comments. I'm being an idiot right now, because I've probably played this map 100 times. I've probably played it in videos, in streams. I have no idea what this map is. I can't think. I'm having a brain fart. Now we've got to set up these maps. I already talked about Eastern Europe, why I really like Eastern Europe. I'm going to put El Alamein up here as well. Really like El Alamein. Not really much I can say about it. It's nice to have the different diversity of the capture points. The only reason I don't put it up here, I really like this map. The only reason I don't put it right up the top is because of that ridgeline around the edge of the map, where a lot of players just go there and snipe, and it's a real pain to dig them out of that location. There's also one imbalanced sniping spot. I'm gonna make a video specifically about this map, because I think it has one really imbalanced spot, which is, it's imbalanced because Gaijin doesn't even know it's there, because I can tell they don't know it's there, because when you sit up there, tanks directly in your line of sight de-render. They're invisible. And then they will pop back in. Because Gaijin doesn't even realize this spot's here. It's one of those locations where the game purposely de-renders part of the map to ease the load on your PC. I think I have been up here a couple of times, maybe in a video, a couple of times on stream. I really like the map. I like the different height, the different elevations. That's one thing I didn't mention for Folder, but I like the different elevation. I really like that this map has. You've got the castle on one side. I don't even know if you should call that a castle. The town, and then the desert. So the capture points are all noticeably different areas. They're not things like a factory, or a train station, a dock, an airfield. I'd like to see some of that. But it is really nice. And any tier. I played at top tier. I love it. I play Panzer IVs on it. I love it. I play M26 Pershings on it. Absolutely adore it. I'm going to put Finland here. Really like Finland. I know a lot of people don't. It has a very MOBA-ish style. You've got the 3 lanes. You've got the capture point right by the ocean on the western flank. And then you've got the town on the eastern flank by the other ocean. So you're kind of, I don't know if it's an ocean or a lake, but you're surrounded by water. And it does get very cramped in the middle of the map. In that middle lane by Bravo. Very, very cramped. You play this map at top tier. In 1.79... M1 Abrams and Leopard 2A4s were playing on this map, and it was awful. Absolutely awful. But for the tier it's meant for, which is like KV-1s, once again, early World War II tanks to mid World War II, maybe not Tiger 2s and such. Really good map. Not much I can say against it. I really like the gameplay. I love the way it looks. I love the way it's laid out, even though it is a very MOBA-ish style game. And once again, it's very, very small. Does feel a bit cramped, but that's mainly at tiers that are too high and shouldn't be playing on this map. At the tier it's meant for, really, really like it. I must have known what this map is at some point. Like I said, I've got an image of when I did a basic preparing for this video, so that I actually knew where I wanted to put these maps. I went and set it out already, and I put this map up here, but I can't even remember what it is. It looks kind of like Mozdok, kind of the same design language as Mozdok. Oh my god, this is very bad of me, but I literally cannot remember this map. But all of these maps go up here. I love them. I would play Abandoned Factory over and over again. I love the way the capture points are laid out, where you've got... It doesn't have the terrain differences, which is something I really like from maps, but I don't mind it being flat here. The only terrain difference is up by Charlie, that capture point up in the factory. Spawn protection is balanced. Both of it's kind of very covered. I don't think you need spawn protection on this map. I really like that the capture points are noticeable locations. We got the warehouses up to the north. They're like oil tanks or water tanks in the middle, and then down to the south you've got the train line, the train station. Really, really nice that you're capturing something physical rather than just a chalk circle on the ground. Like I said, I've said that a billion times, but I really like that. I can't get enough of that, and I would play this map endlessly, over and over again. I really like that you can move through the map bit by bit, even though it's a horizontal capture point map. You can move through it stage by stage, and there's a bit of tug of war. Even if you captured the middle, you can lose the middle, and then you can capture it back, and then lose it again. Charlie and Alpha, you can both very quickly get from either of the two flags into Bravo. You can get from Bravo out to Charlie, or out to Alpha very quickly because it's flat ground going to Alpha, and it's very close going to Charlie. I really like the way cover is laid out, the way the buildings are set up. It feels like a real place. I know it was based off of a real place, but I don't think it's a faithful representation of some accurate real-life location. But it feels like it. It feels like this is something that people built. Like it feels like an immersive, realistic location. I like that. Ash River, OG map, CBT, tank CBT, love this map. The way it's got that difference in terrain, where you've got the 3 steps, you've got Alpha way up on the hill, then Bravo in the middle, and then Charlie way down in the valley. And I like the tug of war that happens on this map. I can remember my very first ever tank game was in this map, in the A13, the British Reserve Tier. Fantastic game. I think I got like 6 kills. It was the first time I'd ever played tanks in War Thunder. I think it was in arcade mode, actually. I got 6 kills. Nice. It's just an OG map. Nostalgia. I love it for close air support. I love derping around on this map in custom battles. I can't say a word against this map. Like I said, could be a wee bit bigger, and it's a little bit difficult to traverse back up the steps, but it's really fun to go down them. Like I said, I can barely say a word against this map, and even the problems it does have, I don't care. I would play this map over and over again. This map, Carpathians, my favourite map in War Thunder. Literally, my favourite map in the game. Once again, based around KV1 tier, Battle Ready 3.0 to 4.0. I'm rating a lot of these low tier maps quite highly. Maybe I just need to play more low tier on the channel. One thing I love about this map is that there are big terrain features like mountains, hills, and roads that rim around them that are actually part of the map. One thing I don't like about some of these maps, like I said with Middle East, you've got those big cliffs, but they're outside of the map. Japan has exactly the same thing. There's a lot of mountainous areas, but they're too far out of the map for you to actually use. Carpathians has big terrain features like hills. You've got buildings that are laid out on top of the hill, or different spawn locations. You've got kind of a triangle where you have a hill where one of the capture points is, and then 2 hills near your spawns. And you can actually get some sniping shots across from hill to hill. You can snipe down into the capture point. And it is a small map. It's way too small for top tier. I can remember saying on the dev server how I had this map at top tier. And I really like the design language of this map, but it's too small for top tier. It really is. But I would love a map with this kind of design language where you have these big hills inside the tank map, but like a supersized version of this for top tier. I think that would be really, really cool. I think that would be more realistic. I think I would love a map like this at top tier, and because of that, I love this map regardless. And I love this map at low tier. I love getting it. I love looking across it. The aesthetic design of this map is stunning. Absolutely fantastic. Like I said, not perfect. None of these maps are perfect, but this is one of those maps that I would play over and over again and never get bored of this game. Japan is another one. Beautiful looking map. Hold on, let me scroll up. There we go. Beautiful looking map with the sakura trees, the temples that are there. Gets a little bit old after a while. I like that the capture points are something, but they're all the same thing. You've got a temple in the middle, you've got a temple off to the east, and you've got a little town off to the west. But it's fun to play. It's dynamic. There's that push and pull. There's that terrain difference. The town is much lower. You've got a couple of elevated sniping positions around the central portion of the map. And it's almost like you've got a bowl in the middle and then 2 portions that are stepped down on the outside flanks. And I like that. I really like a map that's designed in that type of way. I just realized that you can't see what my hands are doing right here. I've been gesturing to try and work out... I'm so bad at videos like this. That's why this one's taken over an hour. Last map. This is the controversial one. 38th parallel, Korea. This is a map that a lot of people don't like. I love it. I can't say... There's a couple of broken spots in this map. I know it's... Ordinarily, I would put it here, because there are a couple of really gamey locations, sniping spots where no one would suspect you being there, and you can really, it's like hacks. Some of those positions really you shouldn't be able to get up there, and Gaijins had to work on this map a couple of times, and then whoop-de-doo, they just removed it from rotation. I haven't seen this map in months and months and months, and the last time I did see this map, I really enjoyed playing on it. I really miss it. I was watching one of my old videos from like a year and a half ago on the T62, playing on this map. I really, really liked it. The Abrams, when it first came out, played on this map all the time. Fantastic fun. When helicopters were first released, they added some scenery, static helicopters into the central portion of this map. Really fun. So I'm going to put it up here. The main reason I put it at the top rather than in the white section is because Everyone else doesn't like it. I'm being a hipster. I'm just being a hipster. If everyone else liked it, like a bit, like they put it around here, I'd put it here. But because this is the universally hated map in War Thunder, I'm going to put it right at the top, just to spite all of you guys. I really like it. I love the way the capture points are laid out. The capture point on the eastern side is the dam. The capture point on the western side is the little Korean town. And the capture point in the middle is this little military base. I love it. I love the way the rice terraces are laid out, how they step back away from the map. So instead of having sniping locations that you just have to rush to and get around like Folder does, where the map kind of all goes up towards the middle, Korea, everything goes down into the middle. I really find this map fun. I do not understand why people don't like it. I don't understand. I don't get your reasoning behind hating this map, because I really, really like it. I like it for close air support because the airfields are not too far away from the tank map. They're far enough away to be covered, no one's going to come hunting for you, and they're actually protected by mountains. I really like the visual design of it. It's a bit dark. Ordinarily, I would put it here, but just to be a hipster, because people don't like this map, I'm going to put it up here. And I hope you guys can respect why I enjoy this map. I really enjoy this map. I wish I saw it more often, at any tier. Like I said, T-62s, Abrams, RU-251s, Tiger 1s, M26 Pershings. Love this map. I know a lot of people don't. I don't understand why. I think it's really great for gameplay. I think there could really be a couple of different versions of this map, like bigger versions of the map for sim or for enduring confrontations for tank battles. Look, I really wish it were added more into the rotation. Anyway lads, that is it. That's all of the War Thunder Ground Forces maps ranked in terms of which ones I personally prefer to play on. These are the ones up here. These, 9 maps I would play over and over and over again. If these were the only maps in the game, I would still love the game. I wouldn't get bored. These, I guess the blue ones as well. And like I said, I still like these. Wallonia and these 3 could leave the game and I would not care in the slightest. I wouldn't miss them at all. But aside from that, that's going to be it. Have a little bit of a look. I might share this on Twitter. If you guys want to make your own, I will leave a link in the description to where you can make one of these. And I will put it, like I said, in the video description. Make your own. Share them with me on Twitter, on Instagram. You can find me at theScottishKoala. It's pretty simple. There's links in the video description to my Twitter and Instagram handles. I'd love to see what maps you guys rate as the best. These are just my personal preferences. You guys are gonna have some different ones. I know a lot of people are gonna put like American Desert up here and Kursk down here, and Wallonia is gonna be somewhere around and blah blah blah, and 38th Parallel is gonna be the one that's right down at the bottom. I don't get why, but personal opinion. That's just mine. So now that you've got a little bit of an insight into what maps I like and what I like out of a War Thunder map, like I said, this is a very, I guess, personal, opinionated video. Unprofessional, very unprofessional. But yeah, there's a little bit of an insight into how I like my War Thunder maps. And I hope you've enjoyed this video. A bit of a long, rambly, ranty one where I just talk. I've actually really enjoyed this, and I'm looking forward to doing that video I talked about just, you know, getting to know me, starting like a channel update series, which I'm going to do monthly on the 17th. So if you guys want to ask me any questions, if you guys want to, you know anything about me, ask me something about the game, about whatever the hell, go ahead and ask those questions in the comments. I will respond to your comments in that video. We're going to do like a bit of a, you know, getting to know me as a person, the guy behind the YouTube channel, because not a lot of people know, I guess, me. It's very self-obsessed to think that any of you would even give a shit. But I'm going to make that video anyway, and we're going to do it monthly from now on, and I'm going to title it Quality Time. Such a bad joke. Anyway lads, please leave a like if you've enjoyed this video, subscribe if you haven't already, hit that bell icon, join the 360 squad, and let me know your thoughts on this in the comment section below. Like I said, go and make your own map tier lists and let me know which ones you like best in the comments. Let me know what you think of mine. Of course, you're all going to have different opinions. I completely respect your right to have a different opinion. You know, go and enjoy whatever map you like. The more maps you enjoy, the better. And if you enjoy some different maps to me, well, having a diverse player base is the best thing for this game. So I really am not fussed if you guys have different opinions. If you think I'm completely dead wrong, I don't mind. That's perfectly fine. In fact, I really hope some people do think differently to me, because like I said, having a diverse player base is really awesome. Anyway, before I ramble on anymore, come follow me over on Twitter and Twitch, join the Discord, and check out Patreon if you wish to support the channel further. Like I said in the last couple of videos, you can also join the channel with a membership here on YouTube now, and if you guys do want to do that, then thank you so much for the support. I'm really happy with the success of the channel recently. Like I said, I'm in a very good mood right now, so yeah, I felt like doing this video. Thank you lads so much for watching this, and if you're still watching right now at the end, then please type quality time in the comments. Yeah, besides that, have a lovely good day lads, and always remember, keep your bagpipes to hand, keep your kilt on, and I shall see you in the next one. I say a wee thank you to these lads for supporting me on Patreon. Captain Thubar, DA261, Gisli Gadarsson, and Dark Recon. You lads are bra. If you wish to join them, come check out the link in the description below.